Hi, how are you guys today? All right, so we're talking about another favorite topic of mine, and it's really about unmet sexual needs. All right, now this is more for relationships. If you're not in a relationship, I don't know that it matters that much. And I say that only because it depends on what you're doing in the relationship. But this is more for romantic relationships, people that really want to have really a long-term relationship. Okay. So let's think about those people that really want to be in a serious relationship. For y'all that are just having fun, this is not for you. All right. Now, can it be? Listen, yes, you can use this information. So let's see what you can learn today. So, unmet sexual needs, we know what that is. All right. So, just imagine the best sexual experience you've ever had in your life, right? Just close your eyes for a second and imagine it. And then think of all the great characteristics that were involved in terms of both of you and the sexual behaviors, the acts that were done. And then compare it to what you're doing or what you're having now, whether now, past, recent past. And then think whether you have any unmet sexual desires or needs. So, to the rescue, we have one, two, three, I think four, yeah, four ways of improving your unmet sexual needs to become a met sexual need or an ideal sexual situation, right? Sex ideals, right? We really want it to be ideal. But sometimes we don't know how to get there because we don't have the best communication skills, which the whole thing I've talked about in the past is coming to fruition right now to this point. We're meeting where we need to use all those tools that I mentioned and information that we talked about here to communicate because we've got to be able to communicate. So today I'm just going to touch on some definitions of what I really want you to know, and then we're going to deep dive into it, in the next few days, including questionnaires, awesome questionnaires. And you'll see, though, that unmet sexual desires need to have a rescue. And if you are in a relationship that needs to be rescued, please stay tuned, listen to these, and just hone in and know that this is amazing stuff. I'm not going to say hot off the press this time, but pretty new stuff that people don't really realize. And I really want you all to know this so that you can use this immediately in your relationship if you need to. All right? Number one, sharing one's sexual preferences. Now, when you Google or AI this sexual preferences, you're going to see sexual orientation. That's what they really talk about most of the time. But you have to type in sharing one's sexual preferences, sharing, because otherwise you're not going to get that topic of what I want to talk about, which is openly communicating with your partner about the types of sexual activities you desire. All right, so with sharing one's sexual favor, what your favorite desires are or your favorite activities. That is what you say when you want to share your preferences. You're positively sharing what you like. Okay? And that's sort of easier than a lot of stuff. So when you say, "Oh, I like this, I like that," that is pretty straightforward. Again, some people might have a difficulty, but that's what you need to know. You've got to be able to communicate your preference and what you favor and what you really like to do in the bedroom. Now, again, I feel that this should be done before the bedroom, over a cup of coffee, at the park, jogging, running, walking, whatever. You really should have an idea of what your partner prefers, likes, favorite stuff in the bedroom, okay? Both of you, men and women. And that's what sharing one's sexual preferences is about. You've got to be able to know, what do you like? And if you need to ask, that's okay. But please, whoever is being asked the question, don't hold back. Don't be shy. Please learn. This is the new way of doing things, to disclose and to say what you want in that bedroom positively. So that's the positive angle, sharing one's sexual preferences. Love it. Openly communicating, okay? Number two, sexual self-disclosure. The difference between self-disclosure and sharing preferences is a little bit more detailed when you're talking about disclosure. It's like hidden things that you don't normally tell people. Yeah, it's easy to say what you like. I like this, I like that in the bedroom, but it's harder to say what you don't like because you might feel uncomfortable, embarrassed, shy, timid, right? You really want to be able to say the things that you don't like confidently. Okay, so it says here, sharing with your partner your sexual activities that you desire and don't desire, your experiences that you've had and that you'd like to have again, your fantasies, absolutely fantasies. Sharing fantasies, maybe not at first, but eventually, is very important. You really have to have, again, long-term romantic relationships. You really have to have guts to do that too, because they can be wild. And don't be scared. Your partner should appreciate it. And if they don't, you got to think again. Have that compatibility discussion. Are you compatible? And have that open conversation where you can actually sit down and write down what you like, what you don't like, and what you can agree to not do and agree to do. Stuff like that. Okay, don't forget, go back to my previous talks, please, for that. And then also boundaries and more. You know, when I read somewhere that it said that this is a time to actually talk about your orientation again, coming back to sexual orientation. Some people do not have the courage to say what their orientation is. So those that are scared, please do not be scared. Be, of course, careful of who you disclose it to, and then the situation and the context, and the environment that you're in. But know that you have to honestly live your life to the best of your truth and your authenticity, right? You want to be authentic. You want to be your authentic self, and you don't want a situation where you're lying to yourself. And that's what would be happening if you're not honest with your sexual orientation. Okay. So please, I'm going to encourage you, if this is something that you need to disclose it, but carefully and confidently, okay? So when you are comparing, again, the sexual preferences and the sexual disclosures, put them all together. It's a great combo, right? You really want to do them together. Talk about it. Timing, how you do it, I know is going to be something that's going to be different for everyone. I might address that in the future, but right now I want you to know the definitions. You need to know that in preferences, you're being positive. In disclosures, you're being more private, disclosing things that you wouldn't normally just tell someone, but because the person really, really is either close to you, or you really think the person deserves it, or you really want an improvement, yes, you go ahead and go further into the details where we can get a lot more information sharing, and you'll be surprised. Great results, right? All right, number 3. Now, this is a sort of newish word for me too. Sexploration. I think that is so cool. Dr. Dylan Selterman et al., they are the ones that did some articles and writings back in, I believe it was 2019. And this is just really amazing. They are really into what we say indulging, actually doing, all right? So partners, again, romantic long-term partners, actually indulging in sexual fantasies, trying new sexual behaviors, activities, again, long-term relationships, right? Marriages, healthy relationships, improving secure communication, exploring different sexual identities from a secure base. So the secure base dynamic is what makes this so unique. You've got to be secure in a relationship, meaning not the avoidant type, not the anxiety type of attachment. And when I say avoidant, be careful, because when you're dealing with someone that is avoidant, right, that person is not really giving their all. They might be having sexual, engagement with you, or they might be intimate with you, but they're not really there. They're not intimate. They're not emotionally connected with you. So they're there because they want to get their release. They want to get their own, and then they want to walk away without a commitment. So be careful. This is not for you. This is more for those that want commitments. If you're in a relationship like that, please get some therapy, get some help, and decide whether you want to continue like that, because I would not encourage that, because you're going to be unhappy, okay? So this is from a secure base. So you want the secure type of attachment, right? So this is what Dr. Seltman did. He actually based it, and he has got studies. He's got amazing studies. We'll talk about that later on. He's got his definition, meaning from a secure base dynamic with your romantic partner, like I said before, with your romantic partner, based on secure attachment with low feelings of anxiety. You don't want to be in an anxious situation. when you're talking with somebody or you're getting into indulging in certain activities and behaviors. You really want to have low anxiety and you want to have a low avoidance of intimacy. So if someone's avoiding intimacy, that will not be the person to talk about doing this with sexploration, right? Sexploration. It's not for everybody, but for those that want to take it up a notch or two, you really should think about having that secure base, and it's got to be both ways. So if your partner is secure and is able to be attached to you, you should also be secure and be able to attach to the other part, to your partner. So it should go both ways, right? Reciprocity should be both ways. So it should go in the way that if he needs you, you're there. If she needs you, you're there. So that sort of relationship is where this can really be successful, okay? If it's not where you're giving to each other like that, it's not going to be successful. So I do not suggest you doing this, okay? So like I said, this is something that should be done with intimate long-term relationships, romantic. All right, so it requires availability. Are you available? Okay. Being present and able to provide support when necessary. Are you available? Again, in that relationship. When you call, is there a response? Do they pick up? Right? Do you guys plan vacation time? Do you guys plan and go out to dinner and take at least one day a week and have me time, right? When I say me time, both of you time. So are you guys available? All right. And being able to provide support. You should be supporting each other. And that definition of support is going to be, again, unique to your relationship. But the support should be there. If you need something, the person should be able to help you. Again, both ways. B requires non-interference. Okay. That's a really little bit of a weird, again, statement. Non-interference, meaning providing freedom to engage and explore one's environment without constraints. So that non-interference, it's a little bit of a harsh word, but they're just trying to say that you should be able to do whatever you want to engage in without feeling uncomfortable or judged, right? And that's something that I don't want to hear either. I don't want no gaslighting. I don't want no judgment. I don't want any attacks, no arguments, right? I just want you guys to be cordial, mature, and open and listen to each other, have a calm conversation. And if it's something you want to do, you do. If you don't want to do, you don't do. But have that conversation, put it in writing, please, put it in writing, and keep it in the vault or under the mattress, somewhere that you can always whip out when you need to. But the most important information here is that without constraints, there should be nobody, again, judging or saying anything negative to you, okay? All right, letter C, encouragement, showing enthusiasm and excitement. So there should be encouragement. Again, both sides, both ways. Enthusiasm, excitement for one's goals and achievements. So you've achieved something, right? You did something that was unusual. There should be clapping and there should be dancing and there should be laughing and smiling, right? You really want to encourage each other, especially if you are willing to go into this sexploration and allow each other to truly be themselves, okay? Long-term benefits, supportive and safe relationship, right? You're going to have a great relationship and you're going to have a lot of support. Again, a lot of people are looking for that and don't have that. Therapy, therapy, therapy. All right. And it helps mental and physical well-being. So don't forget, we all know how sexual relationships can actually prolong your life, right? We know 2 orgasms a week, you're living longer. And so they're saying that's going to help your mental, right? We know all those benefits. And physical, again, we know those benefits. We've talked about it before. Well-being, leading to a better sexual relationship and increasing the quality of relationship, increasing the bonding, increasing the emotional and sexual needs and desires, right? So you get this positive feedback, right? Just keep on getting better and better as you get closer and closer and more intimate, okay? So that is what sexploration is all about. And the fourth one, the last one is, I want to make a point here. I'm going to talk about this more in the future, but sexual communal strength. Sexual communal strength, which means the extent to which a person is motivated to meet the partner's sexual needs, okay? The extent to which your partner is dedicated, right? Working hard to meet your sexual needs. Now, we do have situations where they're not, right? It's not going that way. They're not dedicated. They're not working hard, to meet your partner's sexual needs. So that is the question. And of course, therapy, therapy, therapy. But I want you to know that there's a study now that talks about and has actually determined the strength of sexual communal, which is communication, right? You really want to know whether that person really is trying to help you, trying to satisfy you, trying their best. Because even that effort makes a big difference. And we'll talk about that again, like I said, next week. But they're going to make a difference because it makes you feel better. For women, sometimes it's even enough to prolong the relationship for years and years and years, and the marriage. It can keep relationships going if you have a great sexual communal strength. But if you don't have that going, and there is someone that is not motivated to meet your needs, then you and I both know it's not going to last, right? Something's going to happen. So please, therapy, get help, talk to a professional. All right. And then the last words I have here, my magic words, show me how. All right. So whenever you're confused, whenever you're not sure in your conversation, research says, show me how. Let the person show you, right? And if you're not sure how to show them, learn so that you know exactly how you want it done, but learn how to show people what you want. Sometimes saying it is not enough. So you have to show them in your relationship. And I can tell you that will make a huge difference in terms of not only communication, but in terms of the person being able to know exactly what you want done to improve your sexual experience and your sexual satisfaction and avoid unmet sexual needs. Okay, guys? All right. See you tomorrow. Take care. Have a good night. Bye.